The left-wing nutjobs that adore this episode so much predictably have started to eat their own. All these freaks shilling for The Last of Us episode 3 forgot to mention that it's extremely conservative and a right-winger's dream. Imagine.
There was a misinput! There was a misinput! Are you serious?
So we all know that far left-leaning individuals are extremely crazy and bitter. And we can see it here with these articles that have just come out in the last 2 days. Left-wing nutjobs are attacking The Last of Us episode 3 because it's conservative. Okay, let's have a look at the article. So this New York Times journalist has labeled The Last of Us a conservative show after its latest episode featuring private paradise created by a doomsday prepper. And let's just preface this with the fact that Michelle Goldberg, this actual journalist who wrote this article, is a complete nutjob. Predictably, she's a nutjob. So we just want to put that out there before we go any further. So she talks about Nick Offerman's prepper named Bill, who sets up a fenced community for himself to survive the zombie apocalypse in comfort. Oh, shock and awe. While the episode earned acclaim for its portrayal of the gay couple, unwarranted, journalist Michelle Goldberg claims that the episode tricked sentimental liberals into rooting for a resource-hoarding gun nut defying evil pandemic authorities. So the authorities arrive into a suburban neighborhood during a pandemic and order men, women and children to line up at the side of the street. Their lives are ended, they're dumped in a pit, and this lunatic thinks that Bill is some sort of nutjob right-winger for arming himself and defying these orders. That's where we're going with this article. She also goes on to say that stocking up on canned foods and candles during a blackout, because that never happens, is some sort of right-winger's dream and fantasy. These people are absolutely deluded. And as I said, you love to see them eat their own. If you look at my review for episode 3, The Last of Us, you'll see that the comment section is filled with absolute and utter nutjobs. But this chick has taken it a level up and now she's going after them. This is craziness altogether. Goldberg goes on to claim that the show brings to life some right-wingers' dreams of building fortresses against an invading mob. In this episode, Bill's defense system is able to kill and ward off invaders going after his resources. I really don't get the purpose of this article. During an apocalyptic situation where we have these mutated zombies coming after you to eat you, it is a right-wing's dream, and it's somewhat Donald Trump's fault that people want to surround our house with fencing and stop that from happening. This really is where we're at in 2023. Holy shit. Goldberg, however, said that the criticism over the gay relationship blinded those on the right from seeing their alleged values on screen. I naively thought that some conservatives who frequently complain about not seeing their values represented in pop culture might thrill to the episode, she wrote. It's a story about a strong man whose suspicion of the government facility with weapons and practical skills allow him to defend the ones he loves. And it's one embedded in a show in which the government's pandemic response leads to an incompetent but brutal brand of fascism. This is starting to sound less and less like sci-fi and more like the last 2 years. This is a crazy article, and this chick is absolutely crazy. So after relaying this whole story of this left-wing nutjob from the New York Times, the Mail go on to shill for this episode, as expected, as everybody is doing at the moment. Any outlet across the board that are covering this journalist, they're doing the exact same thing. They're prefacing her story with the fact that this is an amazing show and this person is kind of coming at it from left field. But what is interesting about this whole thing is the fact that, as I said, they're beginning to eat themselves. And this is very normal for this type of a situation. When we have such a polarizing episode, we're going to have opinions coming from the left, from the right, and then of course the majority that you will see online and on social media will be from mentally ill people. And all you got to do is go to my episode 3 review on YouTube and check out the comments. There's thousands of them there. These people really need help. Stop eating the crayons, stop licking the windows, and cry more tears, because this episode was trash and now the mainstream leeches are eating themselves. I absolutely love to see it. Do me a favor, maybe hit subscribe, maybe share out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.